Well, Bruce Willis dropped in the other day. Now Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis. Oh no. You were so cool. You were really cool. Bruce Willis moved into a care home on August 15, 2025. His family spent $200,000 a year just to keep him safe. The man who once shouted over explosions in Die Hard can no longer speak. But that's not the worst part. Emma revealed something she kept hidden for years. She thought Bruce was just being distant. She had no idea his brain was slowly dying. The disease had been stealing him away long before anyone knew. What his family discovered will break your heart. Bruce Willis was born on March 19, 1955 in a small town in West Germany called Idar Oberstein. His father was an American soldier stationed there after the war, and his mother was a German woman from Kassel. From the very start, Bruce's world was split between two cultures. He lived on a military base, surrounded by the ghosts of a recent war, caught between American discipline and German traditions. But when he was just 2 years old, everything changed. In 1957, his father left the army and the whole family moved across the ocean to New Jersey. Suddenly Bruce was no longer the boy from Germany. He was just another kid in a rough American neighborhood, surrounded by factory workers and struggling families. His father worked with metal and his mother took small jobs at banks. They didn't have much, and Bruce felt like he didn't fit in anywhere. As the 1960s rolled in, something started to trouble him deeply. Around age 6, Bruce developed a painful stutter. Words got stuck in his throat. He'd try to speak and nothing would come out right. Kids laughed at him and gave him a cruel nickname, Buck Buck. He tried to fight back with his fists, swinging wildly just to defend himself. But the shame of not being able to speak clearly haunted him. Sometimes it took him minutes just to get a sentence out. Crushed his confidence. By the time he was 10, school had already become a battlefield. The stutter didn't just hurt, it isolated him. High school could have been the breaking point. He skipped classes just to avoid being called on. He pulled pranks to distract people from his speech. But one day in the early 1970s, around age 15, he took a chance and joined the drama club, and something unbelievable happened. The moment he stepped on stage and read lines, the stutter disappeared. It was like magic. He could speak fluently, clearly, without fear. For the first time, people listened. Teachers were stunned. Bruce realized that when he became someone else, the words came freely. Acting gave him back his voice. That discovery changed everything. By 1973, he had become the student council president. Even though some kids still mocked him, he didn't care. He had found something that made him feel alive. And in 1975, while studying theater at Montclair State University, 2 professors gave him speech therapy that helped even more. But by 1977, Bruce was tired of school. He dropped out and moved straight to New York City, determined to chase something bigger. With no money and no contacts, he worked long hours as a bartender just to survive. Sometimes he had to crash on couches or sleep in tiny apartments. But he made people laugh. He skated to work. He played the harmonica for tips. He turned the bar into a stage. Those years were messy and hard. He faced over 100 rejections in his first year. But little by little he started landing roles in off-Broadway shows. His first real part came in 1977 in a play called Heaven and Earth. Even though the money was low and the rejection constant, he kept going. Sometimes he had to sleep on benches when things got bad. But people started to notice him. He got small roles in commercials, bit parts in movies, and eventually in 1980 a brief scene with Frank Sinatra. But one night while bartending, he got into a fight, trying to protect someone. His nose was broken badly. He needed emergency surgery. Doctors warned that the injury might hurt his voice, but he recovered. He came back tougher. The scar stayed, and it gave him a certain edge. Back then, nobody knew he'd become one of the biggest action stars in the world. But in those small, struggling bars of New York, he built something stronger than fame. He built friendships that would last decades. He met John Goodman behind the counter at Chelsea Central, and together they performed wild improvised plays that left small crowds stunned. They were broke, earning just a few dollars a week, but the passion was real. They worked without scripts. They shouted and cried and threw themselves into every moment. These raw performances sharpened Bruce's timing and gave him the energy that would one day electrify movie screens. Then in 1985, everything changed. Bruce walked into an audition for a new TV show called Moonlighting. About 3,000 actors wanted the role, including radio stars and trained performers. ABC rejected Bruce 11 times, but he came back one last time with a shaved head, earrings, and an attitude that couldn't be ignored. He ad-libbed his lines and made the producers laugh. Suddenly, the outsider with the stutter was the one they wanted. Moonlighting aired on March 3, 1985, and Bruce Willis became a star overnight. The show was chaotic and expensive. It took twice as long to film as most shows. Episodes ran 120 pages long, but Bruce's charm, speed, and unpredictability made it a sensation. He clashed often with his co-star Sybil Shepherd. By 1986, tensions on set were boiling. They argued, snapped at each other before scenes, and sometimes refused to speak off camera. The pressure got so bad that Bruce collapsed from exhaustion in 1988 and had to be hospitalized. Scripts were delayed. Ratings dipped, but the fire between them kept fans hooked. Behind the scenes, Bruce was burning out, but in front of the camera he was magnetic. While all this was happening, Bruce shocked everyone by releasing a music album called The Return of Bruno in January 1987. Nobody expected a TV star to top charts, but he did. The album went gold with 500,000 sales. It even hit number 2 in the UK. Critics rolled their eyes, but fans didn't care. Bruce sang with soul legends and turned it into something unforgettable. It was strange, bold, and fun, just like him. But the grind was taking its toll. Filming Moonlighting episodes that cost over $1 million each, Bruce was pushed to the edge. His co-stars' pregnancy in 1987 caused more delays, and a major writer strike in 1988 nearly shut the show down for good. On May 14, 1989, the show finally ended. Bruce had